Under the sun, the fields are alive. Cheering crowds and the teams collide. In these moments, we stand tall and free. First pride runs deep in me. With every touchdown, we rise and we cheer. Unity and spirit, the heart of the year. Raise your voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zone to go, football and cheers make our spirits roll. Girls in the game, they're fierce and bright. Flag in hand, they give it their might. From every town they bring their dreams. On this field of gold, nothing's as it seems. Together we shine, together we play. In Florida's heart, we own this day. Raise your voices, let's make it loud. In Florida's high schools, we're so damn proud. From the bleachers to the end zones go, football and cheers make our spirits grow. So here's to the game, we'll rise and stand. Enthralled and feel, real night band.
All right, it is that time. It is time for the South Florida edition of the Blitz here. And good evening to everybody. And real men, real men wear pink and maroon. I agree, Chris. It took me a long time to get into that with the pink, but hey, it matches the colors of the show. South Florida. I mean, what's better than South Florida? Miami Vice, pink.
Oh, yeah. Pink defines South Florida.
It does. It really does here. All right. Glad y'all are with us here. Appreciate you joining us here on the South Florida edition of the Blitz here. And again, a lot to get to here as we already are through 2 weeks of the season, 3 weeks if you're in the Sunshine State Athletic Association. And again, a lot to get to here. And might as well go ahead and get to it here with the Blitz Lines. And Chris, oh man. This is again area that we have talked about it here, and I'll just bring it up here. Let me find it here. Yeah, Mother Nature just needs to chill out.
Yeah, we're surprised the right one when you need it with this one. There you go.
Hello from Boca Raton is Mark Cannon. Our friend Mark Cannon, I appreciate him. He sent us a $9.99 super sticker in the last show on the Space and Treasure Coast edition of Blitz. By the way, if you're watching us on YouTube, you can do the same thing. Super sticker, super thanks. They're sitting there right there. Just go into the chat and you can do that and bring that up as well. Appreciate it. You got another way you want to support us? How about us getting a season ticket membership at FloridaHSFootball.com/season ticket, $59.99 a year or $7.99 per month. We definitely appreciate everybody who is a season ticket member. A lot of the stuff with the Florida Power Rankings Index, and a lot of other stuff coming up along during the season here as well. Just kind of going through this, Chris. Here, I mean, obviously, one of the games I hit the proverbial graveyard of Mother Nature taking games out is Cardinal Gibbons versus South Broward. Now, by the way, they are trying. First, it looked like it was going to be no makeup, but it looks like they're trying for potentially week 6 to try to put this game back on the schedule. But who knows?
If they get that game going back, I'm looking forward to that game because that game that stands out for a lot of good reasons, And South Broward is a very good program.
Yeah, they've been coming back up in the rise in the last few years. They've been able to win some games and stuff here and be able to be a contender, a playoff contender. But Cardinal Gibbons, there was a lot of hype sitting there around Cardinal Gibbons this year about potentially could they be back, make a run to the state championship game again. They've got several titles under Matt DeBuck. Archbishop McCarthy did put an exclamation point in that game in week 1, so. I was hoping to see what Cardinal Gibbons was going to do in week 2 to respond to that, but now we're having to wait here. Of course, Cardinal Gibbons has got Calvary Christian Fort Lauderdale this week, and let's just say the computer is not liking Gibbons right this second.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, what can you say?
No, what can I say is that looking at it here, Cardinal Gibbons, South Broward, hit the graveyard from in terms of the South Florida stuff. But 2 years in a row, Our Lady of Good Counsel has taken down Columbus, this time 14-7. And our computer favored Columbus, but Our Lady of Good Counsel had other ideas.
Yeah, they're a good program out of Maryland and the Washington, D.C. area. They come down to Florida every other year or so, and they play the best, and Columbus is one of them. Columbus, they fought their hearts out in this game, and still, they came up short to a very good program. So it's not a blemish on their part. It's just one of those teams that it's going to pay off for them in the long run.
No, absolutely. Here, as by the way, you were 4-0 in the picks last week out of the 4 games that actually got officially played, and so good job there to you, my man, Chris. All right, so looking at it here, Miami Central blasts Miami Edison 50-12. That game kind of had a couple delays trying to be moved. They finally got played Saturday. And the Rockets just totally dominated the Red Raiders. And Miami Central 50, Miami Edison 12, West Boca Raton. How about this? 50-7. We're going to be talking to head coach Dylan Potts here coming up here pretty soon here from West Boca about the team here this year. Already off to a hot start. And guess what? Who did they got this week? They got Bergen Catholic coming in from New Jersey. Top 25 team nationally. So a huge high-stakes game here for the Bulls here already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be a measuring stick game for the Bulls. And it looked to be a close that'll be a close game, I think. And when you look at the schedule, it's going to pay off for the Bulls, especially kind of coming back from the state championship game last year.
Oh, absolutely. Mark Kennett says it was hot. He left at halftime at the Edison Central game. Yeah, man. Start a game at 10. By the time halftime rolls around by 11:30 noon, yeah, good night. Yeah. But back to West Boca Raton here. Javian Mallory, 119 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns on 8 carries, while Anderson Graceland added 95 yards on 7 attempts. And the defending Class 6A champs are off to the races, as they say. The bull run has started.
Yeah, they really pounded them, and their defense was phenomenal. We even said that after the championship.
Defense, yeah, absolutely. And the defense forced 2 turnovers, limited Palm Beach Central to 139 yards, while recording also 7 tackles for loss.
Yeah, they haven't missed a beat since coming back from the state title game.
Absolutely. And, of course, the game this week will be a huge one as well here. And as we roll along here, we've got Camden County beats West Broward 32-13. I'm not surprised here on that one. I think that, it was a good set to see what West Broward could do. Put up 13 points against a really good Camden County squad. And but Camden County just basically ran away with that one on West Broward. West Broward now 0-2 on the season.
Yeah, West Boca playing the somewhat national schedule, I think, early on in the season to test their might. And I think West Boca, they're going to be a team to watch over the next few weeks once they get their feet wet.
No, absolutely. And I gotta tell you this, Chris. There was one national ranking. There's like 10 different ones out there. Somebody had West Broward in the top 25, and I feel like to me that was a bit overreaching.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an overreach, but West Broward, they're a good team, but not they're not that good.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to make sure that we let Coach Potts know we're ready for him when he's ready. We're ready when you're ready. But going through our rest of our games here, how about this one? Santa Lucia's versus Palm Beach Gardens. Oh, man, Mother Nature just had a field day this one, and the Gators were leading 21-14 on Santa Lucia's. The Chiefs had a 14-point advantage before they rallied with 21 unanswered points to take control. As of right now, the game is rescheduled to resume on Monday, September 8th, with Santa Lucia's in possession on the Palm Beach Gardens 40-yard line to complete the suspended contest with 7:37 left in the game. Holy cow.
Yeah, and that right in the middle of rush hour, too. And
yeah, talk about that. Right in the middle of rush hour traffic, trying to get there. Yeah. And by the way, there's some of those minutes that there's some of the later part of the game. Fans weren't even allowed in the stands.
Yeah, and I Santa Lucia State. I know they're trailing in this game, but I don't know. I'm surprised they just didn't call it a day and just end up with the results that it did.
Yeah. Yeah, Mark Cannon says Santa Lucia's tried to complete the game 4 times, and I believe it. Yeah, they wanted to complete the game 4 times, but now here you go. This is a whole nother situation where it's like, we got to do a slugfest north just to finish these 7 minutes and 37 seconds.
And I question their motive for playing this game on Monday and then turning around Friday and playing more games. So I think that's going to hurt both programs in the short run.
Yeah, that deserves another Price is Right horn, because it's just not a good situation for the kids. Not a good situation. This is where you would like to have not have to ask the FHA permission for week 12 in this situation. Especially, I get it. Again, I get it. That it's reserved for her.
They're going to play it, but I disagree with it.
I don't agree with the thought that, hey, why can't these teams just go ahead and, okay, let's proverbially put it on the docket for week 12. Okay, if a hurricane comes in and we need the situation for the hurricane, I get it. But allow them to at least put a pencil, but at least let them pencil it in for, and hey, if you need to erase it, that's fine. That's why number 2 pencils are still around.
Yeah.
But as I say, as the way the wind blows, well, yeah.
This is one of those games I think they should have called it and let the score be the final score and be done with it. But.
Yeah, because now, I mean, in this situation, I'll say this: if it storms on Monday, September the 8th, they might as well just go ahead and call the game final and let the results stand.
Yeah, and I get that feeling that probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. All right, well, we're supposed to have head coach Dylan Potts from West Boca Raton on, and I'm trying to see where he's at. He said he was available. He said he would be able to do it tonight, and I sent him the link and everything. So hopefully, we'll get him on here. But first and foremost, before we do take a break here, how about this? Let's give a round of applause for our Blitz South Florida player of week number 1, to Timothy Potts of Goldman High School out of there in Miami. Oh, Coach Potts is getting ready to come on, so we got him. He's ready to go. Good thing. But let's go through our player of the week for week number 1 here first here, and then we'll go take our 2-minute break, and then we'll bring Coach Potts in. Timothy Potts from Goldman went 26 of 41 for 358 yards and 6 touchdowns, and added a rushing score and a 62-21 win over Key West in week 1. So, again, quarterback Timothy Potts from Goldman, our Blitz South Florida player of week number 1, Chris.
Yeah, great performance by Timothy Potts, and well deserved in that game. And Key West, not a bad program to showcase your skills in that.
No, absolutely. All right, we're going to take a 2-minute timeout here. Then we're going to bring head coach Dylan Potts from the defending 6A state champions, the West Boca Raton Bulls. And big game this week for West Boca Raton at home. And we'll talk about that here on the flip side. We'll be right back right after this.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
Touchdown! Juggled and caught!
I've been thinking about this for a long time. I thought if that's out there, I want to make sure I see it and I get involved in it because to me, this was music to my ears. I was blown away. When you look at today's kid, the millennium kid, they learn by being able to see it. If I can see it, there's a great chance that I can do it. The First Down Playbook is a tool that can essentially change the way we teach the game.
All right, welcome back here to the South Florida edition of the Blitz here. Joshua Wilson here with Christopher Like, and joining us for the interview is the head coach of the defending Class 6A state champion, the West Boca Raton Bulls. Coach, appreciate you taking some time out of your busy week. I know y'all got a big game ahead here this week, a huge game, national implications here. And Coach, first, appreciate you taking your time again, and just talk about just everything that that has followed ever since winning the state championship back in December of last year. All the attention that is brought to the program, but just being able to keep the kids focused, and and how did you prepare them for this week, especially with the fact that y'all had week one off as well?
Well, I mean, I think it seems like it's been like last week we were just playing in the state championship. It's went that fast, these last 6 months or so. So I think, we had a really good off season, and, we had a really good, time in the weight room, from January to July. And we knew this year we wanted to take it up a notch, and we wanted to kind of get ourselves in that national mix. So, having a week one bye gave us a little bit more time to kind of get some things ironed out through camp. And, now I think we're kind of starting to hit on all cylinders, especially on defense and in our run game.
No, absolutely. And talk about Javian Mallory. I mean, he had a huge night against Palm Beach Central there, and as y'all got win number one under the belt for the season.
No, I mean, having Javian back healthy and playing is just, like I said, we didn't have him a lot last year, especially in our, run in the playoffs. So just having him, I believe when he's at his best, like he's looked these last, 6 months, he's the best player in the country. And that's what, I full-heartedly believe that. And the way he's running right now, he's running with confidence. He's healthy. I mean, and not just him, our other three running backs as well, too, really playing well on the offensive line. And the defense is, to me, even better this year than it was last year.
No, absolutely. I got a follow-up question from one of our fans in the group chat. For those Miami Hurricane fans, what fans should expect from him next year? What type of player are they going to get?
I think Javian's gonna have a chance to go in and play right away. Like I said, I mean, it looks like the Hurricanes, Fletcher will probably go in the draft this year, and then, have Jordan Lyle, and then, whoever else is there in the portal. But, I don't think Javian doesn't look at Javian's just concerned with going in and competing. And I think if he does that, he'll have a chance to go in and not only play, but make an impact as a freshman.
Absolutely. Chris, I know you got a question sitting there.
Coach, great to see you again. Talk about that game against Bergen Catholic. And they like to pass the ball. You guys like to run the ball. Two very contrasting styles, but both teams thrive on defense. What's your take on Bergen Catholic coming into the coming week?
I think you kind of said it right there. Both teams are really stout on defense. I mean, they got a really good defensive line. They got probably the best player in the 28 class in the country at Jackson Vaughn at the end. They got another kid committed to A&M. They got their corners, UNC, Ohio State. So, they're loaded on defense. And, like I said, we know we're going to be battle tested. And, it's a program with a lot of tradition that has a really good coaching staff. You can tell they run a great program up there. So, we're expecting a hard-fought game. And, we told our kids all week and, leading up to this game, it's going to be like a real college football game. Like I said, it's two really, really good programs going at it.
No, absolutely. And your defense last week, forced 2 turnovers, held Palm Beach Central to 139 yards. I mean, with that defense, again, just being able to stop the defense. I mean, it's the same way as when y'all played Osceola in the state championship game. You just literally, okay, if we can shut Travian Swinton down, we're going to do it, and that's what y'all did. And it's just like whoever, it's no matter who the opponent is and what their record is. It's how can we hold them to the least amount of yardage?
I mean, everything, when you talk West Boca football, you start with the defense. Like I said, I always say you start with the running game, you start with the defense. But, you start with the defense and you start with that defensive line. I mean, I think we're getting some really, really good play in the defensive line. And I think this year our back seven is better than it's ever been. I think we're better at linebacker this year. Like I said, and that's not just because we got it's just kids now that Max Reed as a junior now being, last year as a sophomore. In the secondary, you have a lot of experience. Jaden Broadneck's one of the best, DBs in the country. You Larry Morgan at corner, Carlton Jackson, Tegan Brisky, Trey Mitchell. Amari Ford. It's just we're really deep in the secondary, and I think we're really clicking on all cylinders right now on defense. And that's always the mindset we go in. We tell our defense all the time, hey, listen, you guys do your part. We'll do our, we'll run the ball, we'll control the clock, And but I think our defense has really added it this year is because they're creating more turnovers already, and we're scoring 14 points in the first game off defense alone, and that's something we preached in the offseason of them. How does that defense take it to the next level? And I think it's been a mindset of, hey, let's create a little bit more turnovers, and let's like I said, they want to get 2 to 3 defensive touchdowns a week, which sounds unreal, but like I said, when you're dealing with that much, that talent of a defense, they're definitely capable of it.
No, absolutely. Talk about how y'all been able to handle the weather this year, because obviously, if it ain't the web bulb causing problems, it's Mother Nature causing problems on the other side with thunderstorms. And y'all got fortunate this past week in terms of being, because some teams in Palm Beach County did not get their games in or across South Florida, period. So, talk about just the challenges dealing with the South Florida weather, especially this time of year, trying to get practices in and trying to make sure you get a full practice in, because going to practice in a gym obviously is not fun.
Well, I think, I always tell her, we always joke around. I think, our team and our style of play is built for these weather games, like I said. So we don't mind playing in a mud game and getting in, playing a defensive battle and running the football. But, like I said, it's one of those things we just take the approach, at the end of the day, we can't control it. So it's kind of just, hey, if adversity hits it, there's weather, it's just adapt and overcome. And so it's just kind of that mindset, hey, whether it's a lightning delay, whether, you have to sit out for 2 hours before you get back in, it's just whenever we get back out on that field, it's all business.
Oh, absolutely. And talk about I got to bring this up because it was a big thing y'all had happen over the summer is new upgrade to the weight room and strength and conditioning academy. Talk about that, how those improvements have helped here in the transition from 24 to 25.
Well, I think it's tremendous if you just to have the type of facility like that, and not just only for our athletics, but for our sports management academy, for our medical exercise science academy, for all of our students at West Boca. We're just fortunate to have something like that to, it allows us really to train like a Division I program now.
Oh, absolutely. Chris, you got another question there?
Yeah, Coach, you look at the schedule. What's your most favorite thing looking at the schedule down the line this year?
Like I said, everything is always geared for us in the regular season, getting ourselves prepared for the playoffs. And that's, I think these games like with Bergen Catholic and Cardinal Newman and, even the preseason classic, with Chaminade, like these are all games that, for us, we're going to get ready for the postseason. I think, yes, we fully intend to go out and win them all. But at the end of the day, it comes down to, hey, let's get prepared to make a run again in November and December.
No, absolutely. And again, this week's game, it's going to be broadcasted live on Flow College Sports here. I mean, that's huge. National broadcast there for you. I mean, not necessarily a national network, but a national broadcast in terms of streaming, Coach. I mean, to get that kind of exposure, that's huge.
Well, I mean, that's with a game like this, that's kind of what we were, we wanted to kind of put ourselves in that national mix right there and kind of get ourselves out there. I think last year, we kind of got out there in the state last year, obviously won a state championship, but now we want to kind of get our name out there nationally. And I think in order to do that, you got to play games like this against national level opponents.
No, absolutely. And of course, that game is coming up here this week. It's on Friday night. It's a 6:30 kickoff, and that's a home game for the West Boca Raton Bulls. Coach, appreciate you taking the few minutes out of your busy schedule here, and we'll be watching what the Bulls do for the rest of the season. Best of luck this week against Bergen Catholic.
Absolutely. Thank you guys as always for having us on, and look forward to hopping on hopefully in the postseason with you guys.
No, absolutely. We're definitely looking forward to that. Appreciate you, Coach. Thank you so much, and have a great night.
Thanks.
That was head coach Dylan Potts joining us here on the South Florida edition of the Blitz. I mean, it's just West Boca Raton has just been able to pick up where they left off at, obviously from that state championship win, and I mean, it just literally carried on. And now again, this is probably the state championship game was a big test. I think this is this is probably their second biggest test that they are going to be facing up against. That state championship game was the first one. I mean, I think this is.
Yeah, Bergen Catholic probably the biggest test, probably until November. And you and I both alluded to it last year. This team is going to be a dangerous team over the next couple of years at least, with the way the roster is structured. So, yeah, we alluded to it last year.
No, absolutely. And by the way, that's a Pick Six preview right there. We will have this game on our Pick Six coming up here in a moment. All right, Chris, let's take a quick break here, then we'll come back, do some comments, and then get to the Pick Six here as we wrap up this edition of the South Florida Blitz here on FloridaHSFootball.com and the FloridaHSFootball.com social media networks. We'll be right back right after this.
High school sports fans, follow your team live with a free ScoreStream mobile app. Download ScoreStream to get real-time scores, photos, and awesome video. Plus, follow your favorite teams and friends. Get real-time high school sports from ScoreStream.
Box Out gives you the ability to create graphics at the speed of sports to highlight your athletic department, teams, and student athletes in seconds. Used and trusted by Notre Dame, Ohio State, UConn, Marquette, Georgetown, and many more of the top college brands in the country. If you want your school's brand to stand out through all the clutter, start your free demo at boxoutsports.com.
Juggled and caught.
All right, welcome back here to the South Florida edition of the Blitz here on FloridaHSFootball.com and the FloridaHSFootball.com social media networks as we have the chats rolling down here. And by the way, Emery Smith was throwing down the gauntlet in the chat, Chris.
Yeah, I see that.
He's like, hey, Zach, the Gators are going down to Miami 2 weeks and we'll beat the Hurricanes 1 week after we beat LSU. Welcome to the bold predictions part of the show by Emery Smith.
Yeah, LSU is much better than you think.
Well, we'll find out here, but anyways, looking at it here, we got the fan comments. Mark Cannon's already predicting West Boca will beat Bergen Catholic, and seeing a lot of people joining us here in the show here. Chat, we appreciate y'all joining us here. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coaches, tell your pets, tell anyone you know who wants to watch the Blitz editions of the Blitz. 8 different editions of the Blitz shows over 2 nights, Tuesday and Wednesday nights from 7 to 10 here on FloydHSFootball.com and the FloydHSFootball.com YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button at Floyd HS Football. Hit the like buttons on the shows here, because the more you like the shows, the more it's going to recommend it to people and everything, and we'll definitely appreciate that. And if you want to support us, we got the super stickers, the super thanks sitting there. You can do that in the live chat, or even after the show, if you're watching this on replay. We definitely appreciate y'all joining us here on the Blitz South Florida edition here on FloydHSFootball.com. And Chris, you know what time it is? It is time for the pick six. We're 6 games, 6 picks, 1 winner. It's time to make our picks for the week, for week number 3, as we roll into it here. And Chris, we got some dandies up on the docket here for South Florida this week.
Yeah, a lot of good games, and a lot of games that are going to be very close.
All right. Yes, indeed. As we get rolling here with our games here for week number 3 here, we have got Atlantic of Delray Beach at Dr. Joaquin Garcia. And both teams are undefeated coming into this game. I don't think these two teams played each other last year, so this is an improvement, schedule improvement for Dr. Garcia. Atlantic and Dr. Garcia going at it, and boy, oh boy, a good one at here. A good test for Dr. Garcia. Dr. Garcia really needs this, especially the fact they did have a winning season last year, but missed the playoffs because the schedule, well, it was kind of rather weak.
Yeah, Dr. Garcia, last year they played a weak schedule, and it ended up hurting them. So this game is a much more improved resume builder. So, but at the same time, I think Atlantic is a much better team than Dr. Garcia. So give me Atlantic.
I'm going to take Atlantic as well as I bring up the forecast here. Atlantic is 16-point favorite over Dr. Garcia. Atlantic 92% chance to win this game. I got to say why Atlantic. I think Atlantic wins. Obviously, they're coming off a big win against Jonesboro out of Georgia last week. Went up to Georgia last week, got that win. Mark Cannon is going Atlantic as well. Reno is going Atlantic as well. So we're all agreement Atlantic. I think this will be a really good game for Dr. Garcia to play. Even win or loss, it's good in terms of the strength of schedule component that Dr. Garcia will need later on this year in terms of getting into the playoffs for the first time in program history. All right, as we roll into our second game, Cardinal Gibbons 0-1 versus Calvary Christian at Calvary Christian. Fort Lauderdale 2-0, and forecast on this one is not like in Cardinal Gibbons, but I feel like this game's way much closer than what the line is. Calvary Christian, an 18-point favorite, giving them a 94% chance to win. I think Cardinal Gibbons has got athletes. I actually think, in a way, Chris, I think Cardinal Gibbons can win this game.
Yeah, I agree with you. I totally disagree with the computer on this one. Cardinal Gibbons, a much better team than computer giving Cardinal Gibbons credit for. But Calvary Christian, they'll make a game of it, but I don't think that Cardinal Gibbons is going to lose this game at all.
Yeah, Mark Cannon's going Gibbons as well. By the way, again, I told you on the last show, and I'll tell you it again. The computer was 71, almost 72% correct on the pick. So it's not that the computer is weighing off here. It's just it's starting to figure out what with these teams here is going on here. And again, Cardinal Gibbons is sitting there with only 1 game in the system, so we only have 1 game of result. Plus, we're still relying on that preseason result with Gibbons. So the more games Gibbons gets in, which we might not get a full figuring of Gibbons until after week 5. That's where we're kind of standing.
Yeah.
We'll figure out more about Gibbons as we go here in the next few weeks. But with that said, I'm going Gibbons. Reno says he would take Calvary in this situation. He told me that, the home team is favorite, but I don't know. But we're giving Reno Calvary here in this situation here based upon what he told me. But Emery Smith says Calvary Christian, but they're way closer than 18. So we'll see here as we roll along here. All right, game number 3 is Miami Southridge versus Miami Palmetto here, and boy, this is going to be a good one here. I think Miami Southridge is one. It doesn't show as them being 1-1. It looks like they're going to try to finish that game against Columbus, but I don't know if they're going to be able to finish that game later on this season. I just don't know. We'll have to see here. But if that result changes, we'll fix it. But as fact, Columbus said 14-7 final, but it's not showing that way. I'm counting it as a win for Columbus, loss for Southridge in that situation. Miami Palmetto 1-0 right now, and both teams they're going to be really good. This is going to be a close game. Miami Palmetto 6 over Miami Southridge. Miami Palmetto 72% chance to win this game.
Yeah, Columbus. Southridge, very good team, but I don't see them beating Palmetto at all. But Palmetto is a much better team than people realize. That I just don't see Palmetto losing this game at all.
It's going to be a tight ball game here. It's as Emery Smith says, he's going to take Palmetto. It's just going to be a tight ball game. It's one of those classic good South Florida games that you want on the schedule, you want to see, and two really good teams in the southern half of the of Miami-Dade County. And Mark Cannon says, per the computer, Palmetto. Thanks, computer. Oh, I appreciate that, Mark. Appreciate it. All right. For our 4th game is Miami Norland versus South Dade. Norland 1-1, South Dade 2-0. But where do we go from here, Chris, on this one? Boy, oh boy, oh boy. What does the computer say?
I like Miami Norland, but South Dade, they're a team that can sleep on you, and they are a team that if you don't play the way, if you get caught sleeping, they will win. And I think Norland's probably going to end up sleeping in this game, and they're going to end up getting bit.
Boy, you think South Dade at Harris Field. All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to go against the computer and take South Dade myself. I think you kind of convinced me here. But Emery Smith is picking Norland, and Mark Cannon says Norland needs to put up more points to be successful. Defense is stout. Ooh, yeah, that is the big problem for Norland here. But Reno is going to go Norland based upon what he told me to do, but I'm going South Dade. I'm going against the computer on this one. We'll see if it comes back to bite me later on. All right, our 5th game, Chris, is Bergen Catholic versus West Boca Raton. Okay, you're probably figuring what game it could be better than what Bergen Catholic and West Boca Raton. You're going to find out in a moment here. But Bergen Catholic 1-0, West Boca Raton 1-0. By the way, Bergen Catholic won by 1 last week to start the season. So heads up, but they're a top 25 team according to multiple national rankings in High School Football America, and Max Preps have them both in the top 25 around between the 7 to 15 range.
Yeah, I alluded to it earlier. Both teams are stout on defense. Both teams have contrasting styles on offense. But I think the run game for West Boca is going to outshine the passing game for Bergen Catholic. It's going to be a tight game, and it's going to be a great game.
The computer is putting Bergen Catholic at 1 point favorite, and Mark Cannon has already spoken. It's close. It is a 50-50 right down the line, according to the computer. I've seen 1 point games where it's given it like a 54-48 or something like that kind of situation. Not this one. It's a 50-50 situation here in this one. I am going West Boca. If there's a team that's going to do it, it's going to be West Boca.
Yep.
Heard Coach Potts say it. They showed it against Palm Beach Central. Palm Beach Central usually is a pretty good team. And they just literally silly smacked them out there in week number 2. If we saw that out of West Boca in week 2, as by the way, that first game of the season, my goodness.
Bergen Catholic, they got a very good defense.
Bergen Catholic's good defense.
Yeah.
Bergen Catholic needs to be understanding. This is not the West Boca Raton. This is not your daddy's West Boca Raton of several years ago.
No.
So this West Boca Raton team is legit. And as that said, I'm taking West Boca. We're all taking West Boca, including Reno. So we're going there. All right. Mark Cannon says, go to West Boca. It's an impressive place. Yes, it is, and definitely an impressive place. Our final game, Chaminade Madonna 1-1, American Heritage, Plantation 1-0. We talked about this game last week with head coach Mike Smith of Plantation American Heritage. Chaminade Madonna picked up a win last week. They finally got their first win of the season, but it wasn't a blowout win. It wasn't one of those wins where they completely dominated that game. I got some concerns about the Lions. I'm just not sure if they're gelling just yet. They managed to avoid the 0-2 start like they did last year. What I saw at American Heritage after that game against St. Joseph's Prep, and the fact they had the bye week here, I think really pays dividends for them in this game, as the computer is calling for American Heritage 11 over Chaminade Madonna, giving AHP an 85% chance at winning.
Yeah, and I completely agree with the computer on this one. The way that American Heritage came back and won that game,
yes,
showed the character of this ball club. You know?
No, absolutely.
And, I mean, and you got another similar team with Chaminade Madonna right there waiting for it. This is going to be an equally tough matchup for American Heritage.
No, absolutely. And it's going to be a tough one, but we're all going American Heritage Plantation. It looks like even the chat is all on AHP. Chaminade Madonna could be facing down a 1-2 start here. I mean, thank goodness it was not an 0-3 start. This could be and that's the thing. They're light in the trenches. That's the big thing that hurts more for them this year, Mark Cannon, is when you don't have the guys in the hog mollies. You got to have hog mollies. And, boy, I will tell y'all this here as we wrap up here the pick six for week number 3 here on the South Florida edition of the Blitz. Chris, you're for the third time this year there will be a new number 1 in the 1A rankings because Cardinal Newman lost to Roman Catholic out of Pennsylvania last week. They were number 1 in FPRI. Chaminade Madonna started off 1. Cardinal Newman went to 1. Well, there's another new number 1 coming. I can tell you that right now, and the team is not in South Florida.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all.
So any final thoughts here as we wrap it up and get ready for our Tampa Bay edition of the Blitz? We'll have Bob Putnam on. He'll probably be a phone interview with him, but we'll have Bob Putnam on to talk Tampa Bay football. Any final thoughts, Chris?
Yeah, I love this week's matchups in South Florida, especially with the West Boca and the Plantation American Heritage.
No, I love it. And again, some good games in South Florida this week here. And we've got one more show coming up here with the Tampa Bay Blitz. We'll be back here in just a few minutes here. Appreciate y'all watching. We'll see you in the back in the beginning in a few minutes.